3, 2, 1.
Good morning to you. This is Kay Adams with you till 12 on BBC Radio Scotland. Monday the 16th of October, some lovely autumn weather to start the week. SNP conference delegates spent the weekend in Aberdeen looking to a likely general election next year, and unsurprisingly, independence was top of the agenda.
I am proposing that on page 1, line 1 of our manifesto it reads, vote SNP for Scotland to become an independent country.
First Minister Humza Yousaf there, of course. It is the number one priority for the SNP. Is it the number one priority for you? If not, what is? 08085 92 95 00 is the number to call. Also coming up this morning, he's been called one of the world's most adventurous travellers.
I remember the first thing I did was walking into a plague research centre in Kazakhstan where they had vials of anthrax stored in a fridge.
Ah, well, Simon Reeve. He certainly is adventurous, isn't it? He's going to be here to urge us to embrace our wild side. Not that wild, I hope. Is this you?
I'm always late, I'm always late, I'm always late, I'm always late.
Yeah, well, I have to say, I have to put my hand up to that one as well. But maybe there is a reason for our tardiness. Maybe we are time blind. I like the sound of that. We'll have more on that. It was the result that Scotland fans were hoping for. Yep, that was when Spain beat Norway 1-0 last night, meaning the Tartan Army, of course, is on its way to Germany for the Euros next summer. You'll be well aware of that, I'm sure. But if you want some advice on how to get there, or indeed any travel advice at all, Simon Calder is going to be joining us. We don't know where from, of course, but to answer your questions on any aspect of travel.
I'd like to know, are you really ready for some super dynamite soul? Introducing the world's greatest entertainer, the amazing Mr. Beat himself, the hardest working beatboxer in show business.
Mornings on BBC Radio Scotland.
I think you're getting more and more productions that are doing that, aren't they? The big live show that's so expensive, difficult for people to travel to, go to the cinema, and you get, more. I'll tell you what, Elton John.
Oh, baby.
Tell me, baby, how can I make it up to you? Well, I feel so stupid, I don't know what to do. Oh, I thought the grass was greener on the other side. I'm sitting here with me, myself, and I. Don't need no whiskey, don't need no wine, don't need no other stuff to cloud my mind. 'Cause I hurt my woman, been so good to me. So bring me a seat back of common sense. What kind of fool would trade his gold for a losing hand? Especially when he got a woman as good as I had. Yeah, you know I took her for granted and treated her so bad, so bad, so bad. Now all I can do is work and try to get my baby back. Don't need no whiskey, don't need no wine, don't need no other stuff to cloud my mind. 'Cause I hurt my woman, been so good to me. So bring me a six pack of common sense. I ain't too proud to beg Oh, I need you, baby. I need you by my side. Please, please.
Listen to this and I was thinking, what happened to Kiki D? You know, and whenever I do that, I get a bit nervous whenever I start Googling whatever happened to, because I don't know what I'm going to get, do I? I mean, you know, there's... Anyway, she's fine. She's 76. I shouldn't laugh, shouldn't I? No, and she's living in Hertfordshire. She's perfectly happy, everyone. Don't you worry about Kiki D, anyone. She's absolutely fine. She's still friends with Elton John. I'm taking this off the internet. It could be an absolute hoo-ha for all I know. But anyway, apparently she gets an orchid in a pot every year from Elton John for her birthday. Isn't that nice? Born on the 6th of March, 1947. I'm a fund of bloomin' knowledge, I am, if you put a smartphone in my hand. Now, Simon Reeve is known as one of the world's most adventurous travellers, having explored more than 130 destinations. Benidorm's not on the list, let me tell you, but jungles, deserts, mountains and oceans certainly are. His latest adventure is to 36 towns and cities across the UK, urging audiences to embrace their wild side. I'm up for that. I'm up for that. Morning, Simon.
Good morning to you. Good morning. I was just thinking, have you got a wild side? I bet you. Of course you have.
It's buried very deep, Simon. It's going to take a lot to get it out. It really is. But I hear you're the man to do it, right enough.
Well, I'll try and nudge you. I'll give you a little reminder of the benefits of it, because there you are on your smartphone trying to find out what's happened to Kiki D.
She's fine, and, Simon. She's fine.
She's fine. She's fine. Nobody needs to worry. But we need to lift our eyes from those screens, and we need to get out there into the big outdoors. And genuinely, I do worry that we're getting a little bit screen obsessed, aren't we? And I think we need a bit of a reminder about the beautiful planet out there and the wonderful things that you can experience there. And it doesn't have to be around the other side of the world. It can be closer to home as well. We need just people in the outdoors, walking, experiencing, trying new things. Yes, being a bit more wild, but having proper experiences as a result. Yeah. So that's one of the things I'm banging on about. Yes.
Well, not banging on about at all. I'm sure a lot of people have got a lot of sympathy with that view. But I'm thinking you had a kind of epiphany, if you like. Was it in Glencoe?
You're absolutely right. I did. Yes.
Many years ago.
Many years ago. Yeah, I was on the dole. I'd flunked out of school. I was really struggling in life. And I went on a bit of an adventure. I grew up in a very ordinary bit of West London, and we didn't go on fancy foreign holidays. And it was a really big thing for me to come to Scotland. And I'd love to claim there was some deep spiritual motivation for it, but my mate Dwight had a video of Highlander. I think that was the...
That's my partner's favourite movie of all time. If I see it one more time.
There you go. It still holds. Anyway, I came to Glencoe, and yeah, I climbed up to the Lost Valley, as I now know it to be, and I was a sort of one of those Muppets who come with nothing and almost get lifted off by mountain rescue.
Right.
But I somehow made it up there on my own. Not flip-flops, not quite, but definitely t-shirt and a cagoule, and it changed my life. It really did. It gave me a whole load of physical self-confidence and a bit of belief in myself, and I went back home, and eventually I got a job and my life began. But those sort of adventures can make a difference.
Really conscious of that being a life-changing experience, genuinely.
Totally, yes, genuinely. I think if you look back at the events that got you to where you are, you start to see those moments where you saw an advert in a paper, or somebody said, "Oh, what about trying this?" And yeah, those are the events that shape us and make us. That moment you decided to go to the pub on a Friday and you met your partner. These are the proper life-changing events. And for me, that going on that little adventure, it was a big adventure for me at the time. I don't want to underplay it. I had a proper moment up there. When I finally got to the top, it helped to transform me. And I think still we undervalue the effect, the benefit of those physical experiences in the great outdoors.
Well, I mean, that was more than 2 decades ago, and clearly, you have travelled to some incredible places in that time, places that, other people realistically are unlikely to reach, but still that element of taking yourself, I hate that expression, taking yourself out of the comfort zone, however you would express it, embracing your wild side or whatever you feel can be transformative for people. But over those 20 years, have you been kind of disappointed that the world is going in a different direction from you and becoming more screen obsessed and becoming less likely to, explore the great outdoors, wherever that might be?
Yeah, I don't think it's any different for me. I mean, I still feel that screen, the lure of the screen. I've put this app on my phone. I mean, there's lots of them available, but I've got one called, I think it's called Freedom. I'm not repping it or advertising it at all. I've just done it myself and paid for it. But it shuts down social media whenever I want it to, and I set it up so it shuts it down every evening, social media and games. So I can't be tempted because I have low self-control. I like the term out of the comfort zone, actually, personally. I hear what you're saying, but I really like it because I think it's a sort of little reminder to us that we can exist in a little bit of a bubble. And with the screens and lots of different forms, we are living almost a more digital, introverted life. So yeah, I'm super keen to remind myself first, my family, friends, anyone else who listened to me banging on about it, the benefits of actually getting out there in the outdoors. We all need to nudge ourselves and our loved ones, I think. And it's getting outdoors, but it's having experiences and living a bit of a life during our short time on this planet, And yes, I've been very lucky. I've been to the other side of the planet and I've done that repeatedly. And that's been the journeys that I've undertaken. But my whole belief is that this tour I'm doing is called The Ends of the Earth, but it doesn't have to be going to the other side of the planet. Sometimes it can be quite close to home. When I was growing up, going to the ends of the earth was East London or then coming to Glencoe. Yeah. But it can be somewhere just around the corner from you. It can be just a case of looking at what you always do in your normal life and varying it up, mixing it up a bit and having the memories and that sort of awakening that comes when you try new things, new food, new experiences, meet new people. You can take it slowly and gently, but it gives you more of a sense of why you're here.
Yeah, well, and of course in Scotland we're incredibly fortunate because, we have such a wonderful landscape to explore that most of us can get to relatively easily. I mean, obviously you are hoping that people are going to come out and see you in your theatre tour. You're going all across the country. You've got 3 dates in Scotland, Glasgow, Edinburgh and Aberdeen, 11th, 12th and 13th of November. I'm presuming that you will give people a flavour of some of your, more exciting and dramatic adventures, but clearly there's going to be a message there as well.
Yeah, I think that's a good summary. I mean, obviously, I'm going to talk about the exotic, mad journeys I've had and crazy things that have happened. But I think it's life's journey is a little bit as well. And I haven't had it all my own way during my own life. I've talked a little bit before about the struggle I had when I was a teenager and growing up. I don't come from wealth and privilege in the conventional sense. I was lucky I grew up in London because otherwise it'd been very hard for me to got a job as a postboy on a newspaper, which is how I started. But I didn't go to university, and so many kids are pushed towards that now, and anyone who isn't feels like they haven't got a chance in life. Well, I went on the dole and I was lucky. I got a job eventually and started at the bottom. So a little bit of reference to that. But, I have talked a little bit about that before. I'll be talking about some of the mad adventures I've had around the planet, as I say, and how that makes me want others to have a little bit of the same. Not quite as mad, perhaps, but still exotic experiences. And I'll be just talking about some of the journeys I've had more recently as well and what that's taught me about the world, because our planet is changing. Of course, it is so dramatically, and there's still so much for us to learn about it. And I think remote places have got a lot to teach us about the future, not just places we all know about. It's not all about the cities, it's about the outdoors as well and what we can learn from it. And of course, you're right about Scotland on the doorstep, and so many of us just manage to forget that and overlook it, and we need a bit of a nudge, a little bit of elbow in the ribs sometimes to think, yeah, all right, I'm going to go out next weekend, I'm going to do that. Well, we have to experience that outdoors and bank those memories.
Well, you were saying that the world is changing. It certainly is, and climate change is a major concern, of course. And within that, travel's kind of in a stickier spot than maybe 10 years ago when, it was a good in itself, go see the world, travel to the furthest distance that you can. That's not really the kind of vibe now, is it?
There has to be a question mark about it. I totally agree. I still believe in travel. I think for us as individuals, it's phenomenally powerful. It grows the mind and the soul. I think we have to accept the privilege that comes with it as well, though, the responsibility, if you like, and acknowledge that, you know, we are having an impact with our journey. So we need each journey to count. And one thing I'm really keen to remind people is how the good your journeys can do. If you go to the right place, if you try and travel as sustainably as possible. You know, travel and tourism is obviously a massive industry in lower income countries abroad, but it also, your tourist money, your sterling, it can help to sustain wild places around the planet. I sort of wish it wasn't true, to be honest, but in many remote, wonderful places, it's only sometimes travel and tourism that protects those places and stops the locals from wanting to farm it and poach it. So I do think travel can do a lot of good. I've seen it with my own eyes. I believe in it, of course, and maybe I'm a bit biased in that sense, but I totally recognise we've got to make it more sustainable. I do sometimes think it gets a little bit of a rough ride compared to other industries. You know, like fashion and clothing, I think that gets off a bit more without the attention, and that has a colossal impact on the environment as well. But definitely we need travel to be more sustainable. We need more research in how to make those flights a hell of a lot greener. And we need to recognise that everything we do as well, okay, has got an impact. You know, I was horrified when I found out something like the average person in Mali in West Africa has a smaller carbon footprint than the average British kettle. Oof. Can you believe that?
Yeah. There are so many ways in which we're going to have to kind of redraw our lives, if you like. Have you ever been on a flying flop, Simon?
I have done, and you said at the beginning he doesn't get a Benidorm. I've been to Benidorm.
You've been to Benidorm.
I have. I really loved it as well, to be honest. You can't. I think it's very tough to take away that break from people, that chance of a flop, from people with busy lives. I'm not trying to sort of say, oh, you can't relax. You know, there's no telly person should be ever saying that. But I do think I do want to remind people about the value of having proper adventures and experiences. And, you know, we're talking about travel. We've done it forever. It's not something new. It's not something we've just been doing the last 20 years. Humans have always travelled, and we mustn't lose it from our existence. Yeah,
it does seem to be a very basic urge, doesn't it? Well, listen, Simon, thanks. It's been a real pleasure to speak to you. And so the tour, again, remind me of the name.
It's called To the Ends of the Earth.
To the ends
in every sense
of the earth. And Simon will be bringing To the Ends of the Earth to Glasgow, Edinburgh and Aberdeen in November.